I probably won't call on people generally, but I want to ask Marion Ball to start the conversation going. Because this question is, what one piece of advice would you give to women coming into up the path behind you?
Well, that's a wonderful question, and thank you for the privilege. Well, I think I've been in the field, obviously looking around the table longer than any of you, and I'm honored to be here with all of you. I think probably the best thing to do is to have confidence in yourself. You're lucky if you have mentors at a very early stage of your development, and the opportunity to know, particularly in this country, that your world is an oyster. You have every opportunity that has never been there before. When I went to high school and I graduated in 1957, and there were three professions that we women really were qualified, so to say, to enter. We could become a teacher, we could become a secretary, or we would become a nurse. And I became a teacher, and I started out in mathematics, which was lucky for me, but I had a very, very wonderful set of parents, both of whom were professionals. My father was a physician, my mother was a corrective therapist, so they encouraged the education. But even then, I had a brother who was 2 years younger. It was always thought he should go to the best university, he would be a physician like his father was, and my father thought I would be wonderful to help him because he had a big library to become a librarian. So the interesting thing was, both of my parents, however, when I studied mathematics, and that was just the beginning of when computers came into being. So I was very lucky. Now working for IBM, it's kind of remarkable because when I go to the headquarters in Armonk and in Yorktown, they have a museum of key punches. They've got a museum of sorters. They've got 4-1 card, all the different numbers that we had in those 407 where we board wired and we did the 360. All of those machines I took as courses at the University of Kentucky, and they are all in the museum. And I walk by and I think, gosh, have we come a long way. And when I was in mathematics, I also had courses with engineers. There were 2 women and 100 men. So I was just really lucky in having parents who supported me, even though I came from a European background with German is my main language at home, where a German father, loved his daughter. But whatever I did was okay. But my brother, boy, he was pushed to go to medical school, to go to Yale University, to do all the things. And in a way, it was a privilege. I could do whatever I wanted to, and they would think that was just great. So I've been lucky. And then I married very young, at 18, also somebody who my father and mother approved of, who was another professor, a friend of my father's. So when it comes to mentoring, that to me was the thing that made everything for me. I had mentors and my parents, and then a very caring, wonderful professor husband who was 16 years older than I am, who encouraged me and gave me incredible advice. I mean, I had mentoring, which I think that if I were to advise, if you can find a good mentor for the new generation, and you've got many more opportunities now than we ever had. I mean, you can be anything. You can be an astronaut, you can be a writer. You can do everything that this wonderful room represents. So I feel so privileged to have lived the life that I have had and having been a woman. And one thing I do have to say, the people that helped me the most were men, not women, which I hope that has changed. And I've tried in my own life to see how I could mentor women, because women in those days, I think, had to crawl up the ladder so aggressively that when they got there, they thought, you're going to have to do it on your own. So it's not a good thing to say about older women like me, but I think that has changed a lot, and I think if we can help each other more and really promote your fellow females, that's what I would recommend. So thank you for the privilege.
Okay.